They're telling me. We have some awesome music from Elemint Wealth Management, and they're going to give us some entrepreneurial tips. 180 seconds worth, right?
Yeah. I definitely did not pick that music. 180 seconds to entrepreneurial success. So just building on what we've talked about the last couple months, key man policy, TAM, SAM, SUM. Hopefully you've realized whether you have a hobby job or an investable business. So let's say you get past all that point, you're coming up here. What are you asking for? That's the number one question that seems to come out after every presentation is, what is somebody up here actually asking for? And if you're an entrepreneur, it probably seems like a pretty simple answer. You're looking for funding, right? It should be a really simple answer. But there's a lot of different levels of funding and a lot of different ways you can get funding. And if you're an entrepreneur, you're probably not a CFO, and so maybe that isn't something you really think about, why you should be specifying what you're looking for. So there's equity, right? You can sell away pieces of your business, and the only issue with that is I've never seen a pie that has more than 100% in it. And so while that's very cheap currency to give away in the beginning, your business currency, there's only so much of it. And if you give too much of it away, you ultimately don't have anything left for yourself, or you end up in a WeWork situation where you can be forced out of your own company. There's debt. That's an option. You can go to banks to get funding, or maybe accredited investors are looking at that. But obviously, much like student loan debt, that can be a little heavy, and there's only so much of it you can support. And if you're having to service debt, then you obviously are not able to invest in growth. So a consideration. There's a hybrid. You can do convertible debt. So debt today, equity tomorrow, gets you a slightly lower interest rate. So definitely an option. And then there's crowdsourced funding, which kind of takes all of this into consideration. And so there's only going to be one winner here tonight. There's only one guy that's going to get $500. But that doesn't mean that there's not 5 great ideas that deserve investment and deserve capital. And we live in a golden age of crowdfunding. The Jobs Act of 2012 made crowdfunding available. And while I'm not necessarily condoning any specific site, this is the most impressive one that I've seen. And one of the things that I think is impressive about it, it's called Crowdfunder, is that you can actually sell equity on it, where a lot of the early crowdfunding sites, you could just give away t-shirts or cups or mugs or something to that extent, but you weren't building an investor base. And what you'll notice, and this is kind of tough to see, but I can provide these to anybody that needs them, is that all the questions that are being asked right over here are a lot of the things that we've been talking about. TAM, SAM, SUM, what's your elevator pitch? Mr. Moore can help you with that, so you can perfect it. And it talks to you about what your offering is, what you're willing to give away, so it can kind of help you structure and think about these things. So as entrepreneurs, this is really the last step. Is you get up here, you do your presentation, you talk about how great your idea is, but you need to know how are you going to get that investment money from the people sitting in this crowd, and I don't see that articulated very often. So anyway, Elemint Wealth Management's 180 seconds to entrepreneurial success. Thank you.